I'm now joined by Private Steve Potter, who's on the sofa with me. We're going to be talking more about the apprenticeship opportunities available within the Armed Forces community and how one can go about the process of that, where to start and where to go with it. Thank you for joining me on the sofa today, Steve.
No worries. How are you?
Do you know, you're the first person to ask me that today. You're my last interview, and you're the first person to ask me. Thank you. I'm great. How's it been going out there today? Have you been here for the day?
Yeah, so it's been going really, really well, as it happens. So one of the things that we've managed to achieve more so is talking to other employers, more so than the recruiting side of things, which has been absolutely brilliant because we've obviously made contacts throughout the Suffolk area. So with that being said, it's great to make that community engagement with others, which obviously is going to benefit us in the future and hopefully them as well.
It sort of narrows that gap then, doesn't it, in
Yes.
that sense of the Armed Forces community and those in civil life, in that sense that you're sort of bringing it closer together.
Definitely.
So, I mean, you told me a bit there about how the process of an apprenticeship goes within the Armed Forces. Start from the start and tell me again.
So we work a little bit differently. So apprentices that tend to work in the civilian street is a case of they start off with an apprenticeship. With the British Forces, the Army foremost is you'll go through a phase 1, which is your basic training. So you'll do your 8 weeks basic training, which is what every soldier across the British Forces has to go through. And then when you move on to your phase 2 training, that's where your apprenticeship will then start. So that can start anything from a year to up to 4 years to complete that, depending on obviously the trade that it is that you choose to do.
So everybody's doing that basic training when you start from. So it's almost you're leveling the playing field then, in that sense that everybody's to the same skill set before then going on to choose an apprenticeship.
That's right. So one of the main things that people tend to forget is in any of the forces, whether it be the RAF, the Army or the Navy, everyone is a soldier first. They need to be able to look after themselves in the field, protect themselves in the field. And because of that, that is what every single soldier needs to go through. Again, like you say, so everyone's got the same minimum skill set, and then they can move on to their specific trade, which is obviously where we thrive as a unit, because we have so many different trades available that we can actually work together in some of the most remote areas in the world, basically.
So you touched on it there, that is the variety. What are some of the varieties of apprenticeships available within the Armed Forces community? So when you enter that after the basic training, can you then take your pick of the bunch to enter an apprenticeship from?
So normally you'll choose a career path before you go in. You normally get a choice of 3. The idea is because you may join the first one, realise that's not quite for you, and then you can take your second option or maybe even your third option. The great thing about that is if you're in civilian world and you go into a job that you don't like, you leave that, you're then technically unemployed, so you're not getting paid. Within the British Army, you can then change your specific job role, and you're still being paid because you're not having to leave your job to then go and find another job. So there's a huge advantage to there, and it doesn't matter how many times you change your career throughout your time served. It's just great skill sets to come back out into the civilian world once you've completed your career.
I think that's really important that you've got that sort of support network there, in that sense that it's not the be all and end all, and you've already taken on the commitment of joining the Armed Forces, and to have that thought of, oh my God, if I don't like this, then I'm done for. But no, to have that options, I think is really important to have, and to make sure people know that as well.
That's it. That is the great thing about us. We are so self-sufficient because we have to be. It does give you that massive freedom, and the nice thing is that every qualification that you do get out of the British Army now is also recognised in civilian street, which it never used to be.
Brilliant. Why not? I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? It's about time sort of thing. I'm interested to know from your own experience what advice you would offer to somebody who is considering starting a career within the Army or the Armed Forces.
So this can be quite complex. Most people that tend to join the Armed Forces off their own back tend to be from a family orientated, so they're maybe 3rd, 4th, 6th generation family members joining. With that being said, one of the best pieces of advice I could ever give anybody is if you're unsure about joining the forces, try the reserve route first, because you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. The nice thing is you'll get to come and do the same basic training as everybody else. Then you'll go into your specific job role. If it's something that you enjoy, you can then join and transfer straight over to the regular units. If it's not, you get the freedom to leave as and when you want. And the nice thing about it is you can work that around your family life, around your university, your college life as a reservist. And then when you realise that actually this is a job that I really enjoy doing, you can then jump straight into, it's a little bit of a longer process, but you can transfer into the regular army. And it doesn't have to be the job role that you chose. We've currently got an infanteer with us who's going in Royal Engineers. The reason he did it this way round is because he wanted to see whether the army was for him first, and it's a great way to kickstart your career if you're unsure whether the army life is for you.
I think that's really important there, and I think that's something people wish they could probably do in jobs in the outside world, in that sense. So we'd all have a trial period and think, actually, that's not for me, I'm off, sort of thing. So that flexibility, that fluidity, it's not something you always think of when you think of the armed forces community. You normally think things are quite stringent in that sense. So I think it's really important that you get that message out there that, it is flexible and there are options as well. Steve, thank you for coming and chatting with myself today. It's been great to hear more about it. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not saying I'll be joining anytime soon. I'll leave that to you guys. I'll stay here in front of the TV. That's absolutely fine by me. Thank you for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.